if you nail the characters in Dragon's Rest, then suddenly you have an avenue to every plot hook in the whole adventure. So grab your pen, grab your notepad, we're going to go through how to run every character in this location and set you up for success in Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Dragon's Rest is a dilapidated temple to the god Bahamut. It stands above the choppy waves below, carved into a seaside cliff face. So yeah, this place has seen better days, but there's still a few amenities it can offer the players. For one, it's called Dragon's Rest, so the players can sleep here in these cells carved into the cliff face itself. There's also a library, there's a kitchen, there's a general kind of temple prayer area, there's a rowboat that the players can use to sail around the island. But what's this last thing? This isn't mentioned in the book. It's whatever you want. Mate, if you want a tattoo parlor, a bar, if you want an archery range in this place to tell your story, you don't need my permission or the book's permission to make that change. I would encourage you to follow your gut, because your gut is correct. So in whatever way you decide to mangle the established architecture of this place, you got to keep in mind the purpose of this location. For one, it needs to be a safe place. This is the town hub. We don't want the players to get attacked or be scared of being here. They need to feel safe in Dragon's Rest. It also serves the purpose of being our quest hub. Every single quest hook from this entire adventure stems from this location. So if you're moving stuff around, just be sure to keep all the quest hooks here, because this location, Dragon's Rest, is where the players spend most of their time. They rock up here on day one and then they go do some side quests and they come back and they go and they come back and they go. They pop in and out. So it's good to use this location as your main vector for exposition. To that purpose, I followed ZipperonDisney's advice of putting a big family dinner in this location every night, and the players are invited. In fact, on my Patreon right now, you can get this dinner invitation that I made from the Kobolds to the players, and it says, would you like to RSVP to this location? Yes or yes. How's that for railroading? But now let's jump into those characters. We're talking about 5 groups here: Runara, Tarak, Varnoth, Myla, the Kobold, and then the rest of the Kobolds. So who's Runara? Well, according to the book, she is one of the founders of this place. She's the leader, she's a priestess, she's an old lady, but the book adds one more detail and says she's actually also a bronze dragon in disguise. I am heavily suggesting you don't do that. Just leave her as a regular old lady. In fact, if I could give her a stat block, I personally would probably give her the stat block of a commoner. I just think that's more interesting. Someone who isn't powerful, but is in charge. That gives more weight to their character and their morals, I think, like their spiritual strength. But knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old lady has a whole bunch of quest hooks. She's the main quest giver, and it's so important that you nail this. The first quest hook that she's going to give is all about Lord Adron, the missing bronze dragon. She has the information, hey, Lord Adron is missing. He went to go fight Sparkrender, the blue dragon, up there in the lighthouse, and he hasn't come back. Can you please help find him? Her second bit of important exposition is that the King Killer Star is going to come in a couple of days, and it's going to eclipse the blood moon, and dragons absolutely love that kind of thing. I guess. At this point, we're deviating from the book a little bit, because this third piece of information I want you to give Runara concerns the Bridge of Light. This is that magical bridge that's meant to connect the mainland to the observatory where the final boss and dungeon is. In the actual book, Runara just gives the players a key right at the end for no real good reason. I think that sucks. I want to involve the players in solving a solution, make them feel like the heroes, rather than this powerful NPC just going, I will grant you the ability to be the heroes. So when they first meet, Runara also says, if I had a crystal, then I could fashion it into a key to repair that bridge of light. So if you're out there in the world and you find a crystal, players, please bring it to me and I'll help you out. Now, this could mean a crystal from the Crystalline Cave in the Seagrove Caves, or it might mean like a diamond or something in the Harpy's Nest. The players bring this back, Runara gets busy on it, and then she gives them a key and it saves the day. When you're role-playing Runara, keep in mind these 3 character traits. First of all, she's a pacifist, but considering that I'm suggesting she's a commoner, right? That's a bold stance for a commoner to take. If you're a tough dragon, you going, I abhor violence. Yeah, nothing can kill you. Of course you do. But if you're like the weakest stat block in the book and you go, yeah, I abhor violence. I don't believe in violence. That's powerful. That's brave. So she's a brave pacifist. Secondly, there is a strong theme of redemption in this whole location. Lots of the characters are broken in a kind of way, but Runara is forgiving. She believes that even if you had a violent past, if you repent and you commit to non-aggression, hey, she's willing to forgive you. And she's also extremely patient. Mate, she lives on an island with a bunch of kobolds. You gotta be patient to have that gig. Since Runara's a leader of this place, she's also a great opportunity to kind of give the players an orientation about what's happening in this location. She can say, go talk to Tarak about this, go talk to Varnoth about that. You could go to the library, you could do these chores or whatever. Really include the players in the day-to-day of Dragon's Rest. In fact, on my Patreon right now, I've got this list of chores and books that are in the library, and you can roll different knowledge checks to learn different information. It's a bunch of cool stuff just to breathe a little bit of life into this place. This was made in collaboration with ZipperonDisney, who's also covering Stormwreck Isle. Check him out. How about Tarak? Who's he? So he's a redeemed poisoner of a thieves guild. Scary looking dude, covered in tats, bald, scars, the whole deal. He's also got a tragic romantic backstory, but around camp, he's the cook, he's the gardener, he's the healer, and he's probably the fisherman as well, like a real Mr. Do-It-All. And he's got three purposes in our story. First of all, he's the healer. So if the players need to buy healing potions, they come to him. Thank you, Tarak. He's also the quest giver for the Seagrow Caves quest. He's going to give this to the players ASAP. In fact, he requests to see them as soon as they arrive because he needs help. When you're giving Tarak's quest hook to the party, the first thing you want to do is give the players a free healing potion from your boy Tarak, because this will make them more receptive to accepting his quest hook. They love getting freebies. Greedy players. Secondly, you want to make sure you mention, hey, the reward for this quest is if you go get the red heart mushroom and you solve this whole angry myconid problem, then I can make an elixir of healing, and that will heal any disease. You also want to do some foreshadowing here, because Tarak needs to tell the players, the last time I was at the Seagrow Caves, oh my goodness, there was a big scary octopus. Now the players are going to be excited about fighting a big scary octopus. And he also needs to give the players a big bag of like fish guts and stuff, like a big smelly bag, because apparently myconids love this stuff and it's going to give them advantage on some of their charisma checks. But Tarak's final purpose is so important. Oh my goodness, it's the most important thing in the whole campaign. Tarak's the guy that gives the players the boat. Hey, do you guys want to use my boat? Yes? Here's the keys. Tarak's really interesting to roleplay because he is kind of a blank slate as far as personality goes. I know the book has suggestions, but this is one of those opportunities for you to go, no, clean slate, I'm going to fill it with my own ideas. Because you can take any one character in your party and go, I'm going to try and mold Tarak to be friends with that character. For my example, what I did is I gave Tarak the exact same accent as one of the other party members. So he came in with his character doing his cowboy voice, and then Tarak came along and was like, well, what a coincidence. I will suggest for role-playing Tarak, when you're revealing his backstory, you can do it in pieces. The players are going to visit here 2 or 3 times, reveal a little bit each time. The first time they visit, Tarak is covered in robes. They can't see any of his tattoos. The second time they visit, he's got his guns out, you know, welcome to the gun show, and he's got guild tats all up and down. At that point, there's more to this guy than we would have thought. He's deep. He's got feelings. How about Varnoth? She is the ex-general of the Azure Wolves mercenary group. Pretty much like They're pretty rough customers, my friends. They're pretty rough customers. I imagine that she is the person that mans the library. She also helps protect the place against any wandering beasties that'll come into town. I imagine Varnoth as a warrior monk style character. Shaved head, good with a bow staff. But interestingly about her physically, she is missing a leg, so she's got a prosthetic. As for purposes, Varnoth is super simple and really quite elegant. She points at the compass rose, and the way we get her to drop that quest hook is through the zombies. So the zombies have never been a problem on the island before. They literally only just started when the players arrived. So Varnoth concludes, the zombies are your fault. Zombies are your responsibility. Whatever it is, you brought it with you on your boat and you need to bloody solve it. And what's great is if the players choose to ignore this quest hook of the zombies are your responsibility, you need to go to the compass rose to sort it out, you can reinforce it. Let's say the players go and do the Seagrow Caves. When they come back, you can have the zombies have attacked the settlement and killed one of the kobolds, and Varnoth holds the party responsible. I even made a handout for this. It's quite stupid. The way you'd use it is you'd go, when the players first arrive, the kobolds give the players this letter, an invitation to a wedding between two of the kobolds. And the next time the players visit, and it's kind of funny and sad. I don't know. You can get this on my Patreon right now for $5. When it comes to role-playing Varnoth, you can treat her like a blank slate, just like Tarak. She's just a custom-built character to directly appeal to one of your player characters. But you can do something quite fun with her leg. So she's missing a leg, and the players are invariably going to ask, how did you lose your leg? And she gives a different story every time. Maybe the first time she says, it was bitten off by a bear. And the second time she says, I lost it in a bet. And the third time she says, I stepped on the fantasy landmine. But when the players actually get to know her and they become friends, she tells them the truth. And it's actually kind of a cool truth. She goes, I was just born without the leg. What's great about that is it means people think that I am less agile than they are, but I have had my whole life practicing with this balance. They always underestimate me. That is why I always win. Next is Myla the Kobold. She is a winged kobold, but she's got holes all the way through her wings. She's actually a flightless kobold. She's the inventor, the tinkerer, and the leader of the kobolds here at Dragon's Rest. Myla is a surprisingly useful character. She has three purposes. The first is that she gives exposition about Mech and Min, who are two evil kobolds working with Sparkrender. These are kobolds that have painted their skin, their scales, blue to match their dragon overlord. Myla's two ratbag brothers, they actually used to live here at Dragon's Rest, but they jumped ship when Sparkrender attacked months ago. They were wowed by his awesome presence and went, that's the dragon for us, and away they went. But not before stealing an invention of Myla's. She had invented a rad flamethrower, and these two brothers took it. So she wants the players to try and get that back. Now, the only reason we're doing this in the story is just to kind of foreshadow Mech and Min as being kind of a mini boss later on. Watch out for these two henchmen of Sparkrender. We're trying to introduce these characters as early as we can. Myla's second purpose is that she is the voice of reason for the kobolds, right? So if you ever need a character to speak for the kobolds, you bring in Myla. And Myla's third purpose is absolutely not in the book. I think you should use Myla as a magical item vendor because the players are going to get so much gold in this campaign and they have no way to spend it. So let's say that Myla, when they first come to this place, she says, you're adventurers. You'll probably be looking for some fancy gear, right? I could go scavenging in a shipwreck or diving. Is there a wish list of anything that you want? And the ranger might say, I'd love a magical bow. And someone might say, I'd love a magical dagger or something. Just take a list of their wish list, just like vague item shapes. And then Myla comes back on day 2 with one of those items. Or do you want to buy it? I could repair this for you. There's some costs involved though. I don't have any specific rules for sending Myla on like a scavenging mission yet. I imagine it kind of like that character Grey Rat from Dark Souls 3. When role-playing Myla, I like to keep it simple. I just boil it down to 2 words. Myla is helpful, Myla is organized, and I know somebody that fits both those criteria, and I just kind of based it on her. If you have somebody in your life that is helpful and organized, just play them. But here is the real tricky bit. This place, Dragon's Rest, is populated by 9 kobolds in total. So what's the purpose of the kobolds in this story? Well, they've got a really important purpose, and that is nothing. They have no purpose. They're just here for fun. The players are going to love them or hate them. And that's all on whatever you do next, because they are difficult to roleplay. And I don't mean they're difficult in like they have complex personalities or wants or needs. It's just that there's so many of them. So here's how you simplify it. Rather than saying there are 9 kobolds, I want to say there are 7 kobolds. And it also equally matches up with the 7 dwarves, because the book gives them all individual names and personalities. Here's Blep, Blop, Bloop, and the other one. I'm not going to remember that, okay? Especially for a character that doesn't really contribute a lot to the story. That's not worth the mental overhead for me, and I don't think it's worth it for you either. But if you just go, well, this one's sleepy, and that one's dopey, and that one's grumpy, you immediately know how to roleplay those characters. Literally give them those names. Here's Sneezy, here's Farty, here's Grumpy, the whole gang's here, and I know what to do with them. But there's more simplification here as well. I don't want you to treat these kobolds as individual characters. Instead, treat them as different facets of the same character, because these kobolds are never separated. They are like one of those cartoon clouds of violence that rolls through some TV shows, and this is like fists and legs coming out of it, and they just leave chaos and mess in their wake. There are so many zombie fights in this adventure, and this video will help you make those fights not suck. It's really fun. You'll love it. Check it out.